Okay, doing a little webcam upload testing here. Recent conviction of Ross Albright, and proprietor of Silk Road. Now, this was more closely related to Bitcoin and the type of business people would do with Bitcoin with regards to online business, which was generally criminal in nature. And that was one of the problems I saw with a lot of that. Was it wasn't like, okay, we're going to the wild woolly west flea market and they have everything. This was a situation where the predominant merchandise in that website was dope, porn, fraudulent IDs. It was usually crime related, and with that stuff being crime related, I didn't necessarily see the level of freedom element for people that just want to get by. People that want to have a job or that want to have a role in society, their own self-employment type business. I didn't see cars there. I didn't see land. I didn't see rental apartments very much. I saw a lot of criminal stuff. There was a way of exchanging some of these things for cash. I didn't see anything that was better than cash, really. I didn't. And with regards to the Patriot movement goes, I just saw a lot of stuff we don't really want to associate with. And one of the things I noticed with regards to a lot of porn and kiddie porn was a certain lack of vigilantism with regards to when those marketplaces and that knowledge and that information was being used to facilitate crimes. None of it was really being used to facilitate any other type of alternative justice either. Basically, it kind of reminded me of when my tools were stolen this last year by most likely an individual who had associated with me for a little while and was also associated with some of the online conspiracy theory people. Now, I kind of dance on the edge of that because I kind of think a bunch of crazy Arabs did 9/11. But there's other elements of the conspiracy theories where I think, okay, I think there's something to it. When the prime suspect's friends wanted to circle the wagons and help aid and abet the crime by throwing accusations at me, which were designed to get me harmed by the police, I realized that I wasn't dealing with any kind of freedom movement, freedom-minded people. But one of the early clues on that was how few of those people work. Okay, and I'm not talking about work as in self-employment versus working for somebody else. I'm talking about work at all. Okay, I'm talking about had any skills, built anything, made anything. I mean, these were beggars, hustlers, con artists. Even their entire media center was a result of extortionate lawsuits against a cable company. When I try to explain how to make money with AdSense, how to make money with somebody who's actually going to be willing to give it to you, it's like I was speaking foreign concepts to these folks. And were they kind of congratulatory? Sure. But when I said, hey, you want to have alternative places, where people could have their micro homes, there could be campers, maybe force some exceptions to building codes so that you can have homes. There wasn't a whole lot of interest in that. But boy, did they circle the wagons when it came to helping a friend get away with a crime. And even when I offered rewards, I said, okay, if your friend didn't do it, I'll pay $1,000, find who did. There was no sense of that community justice. One of the things I noticed with the assassination market in the dark web, that sort of thing, nobody says, hey, here's a guy who raped a little girl, here's what he looks like, let's find him. There was very little sense of community justice or vigilantism in that, which put them at a level even below the street gangs. Okay, all these people wanted to do was facilitate crime. And that's where I have to take a moral stance and say, listen, we're not going to roll with those people. Okay. So when Ross Albright got busted, don't consider him a hero of the libertarian movement or the Patriot movement. Okay. These guys weren't making contributions when our people were getting locked up. When the people who actually do the risk taking, the heavy lifting and risk taking for freedom, all these people want to do is get rich and get high. Okay, and facilitate crime with their online stuff. Without any level of somewhat moral activism, without any charitable activity, I'm not seeing a lot of redemption going on with that. Even when we're talking about people with, wanting immigration paperwork or something like that, there was already pre-existing methods for that. So when you're looking at a dope dealer who wants to get into the country because he's been kicked out 3 or 4 times, then they want to facilitate that. When they're talking about maybe, I thought maybe they're going to do online adoptions or something like that, do some stuff like that. And then when you see the level of kiddie porn they're dealing in, you're like, holy crap, there's a recipe for a disaster. You can't have anything to do with those people. And or even overseas child recovery. There was a whole market in that back in the 70s and 80s. Some former Delta Force guys used to travel over to the Middle East. When there were custody disputes, some of these people would adopt American children or have children by American wives, and there'd be a custody dispute. There was a marketplace for child recovery. I wanted to see if there was anything going on with that type of service. There wasn't. But there was a whole lot of, somebody wants somebody harmed type stuff that I just think we needed to stay away from. And so in the Patriot movement, I'd like to see economic development and some sort of an alternative society type thing. I just don't think Silk Road was ever going to be our thing. So I don't have major hatred or regret or sympathy for this guy, Ross Albright, in getting busted. I think it's too, it is what it is. It's a marketplace where they had a lot of things. Very few of those things were of any use or utility to our people. And I don't think they met I don't think they didn't meet my standards for what I would want. So, is the government the bad guy for going after him? I don't know. It seems like it's between those guys and the government.